Hello, folks. Rodney here. Dennis, hello. Drone Worship, hello. I'm still setting up stuff in case you're wondering what I'm doing. Third Eye View, hello. How you doing? I was just sitting here watching some videos, and I thought to myself, why don't you go live? Oh man, Dan, as much as I would like to, if I was single, no problem, but might have a problem with my wife, bud. Oh, wow. Hey, Mr. LoveLady, hello.
There's no Mr. and LoveLady. How you doing,
hey, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy
Birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dennis. Happy birthday to you. And that, folks, is why I don't sing on my live streams. But the sentiment's there.
You caught me downstairs looking for old equipment. This is what my wife was using when she found me.
What is it?
A stud finder. Wait a minute. Why is that so funny?
Oh, no, okay, we won't go down that road, but just know that it's funny. Oh, that's actually pretty good, Dennis.
I'm going to put a light in the garage. I need to find a place where I can mount it. So that's what this is great for.
Mm-hmm. You know, drinks are getting smaller and smaller every year.
I know. How many ounces is that now?
This is a 12-ounce.
Really?
Yeah.
So it must be more dense than it used to be. Because that's pretty small to have 12 ounces in it.
Yeah. Well, it's not 12 ounces now. I've drank a little, but
well, no, I want to know how much it weighs now.
Oh, now let's see.
The bottle.
Probably about 2 ounces. Hello, Ray Kelly.
Hey, Ray.
Third Eye View, Drone Worship. How's it going, Dan? Dan, have you had your operation yet, or are you just waiting for that?
Hi, Myra Elaine.
Buying space. Hello.
Hey, Mike Roach.
Mike Roach. Yeah, Mike says Dr. Pepper concentrate. So, yeah, I just thought, I was sitting here watching some YouTube videos and thought, you know what? I'm pretty much alone. My wife went to pick my stepdaughter up. Thought I'd just go live for a few minutes and say hi to everybody.
That's good. Yeah, you saved me from
doing work.
That outdoor heat, yeah.
Hey,
I don't look like someone who's going to do work anyway, do I? I need to shave.
Oh, you're retired. You're not supposed to be doing work.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I see, Dan. Well, hang in there, brother. Hang in there. Drone shots. Hello, Jody.
Hey, Jody.
If anybody would care to join, here's the link. It'll be up for about 30 seconds or so. Please feel free to join. So
Cool.
you just been piddling around the house today, Dennis?
Yeah, I've been actually copying CDs to MP3.
Ah,
I have such a huge collection of CDs, and I should. It's a project I wanted to have done years ago, and while I haven't purchased any more CDs, I haven't made much progress either. So
no, that's yeah. I actually managed to get all my CDs. I spent like a weekend doing it. Actually, it's a couple of weekends.
oh yeah,
And then I also got my cassette tapes put over to MP3. What few I had.
cool.
So
I did that way back when it technically wasn't. There was no good way to get it done. I
yeah.
converted, and I even converted wire tapes to MP3. Actually, to CD.
What kind of tapes?
Wire. It's a technology from the 40s.
Yeah, I was just going to ask. That's rather old, isn't it?
Yeah, my dad had some wire tapes from back when he was young.
Hey, Drone Life, how's it going, Chris?
Hey, Chris.
So
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that.
we had a thunderstorm come through last night, and I was doing the church's live Thursday night evening service,
Yeah.
and about 3 minutes before it ended, we lost power.
Oh man.
Hey, Mike B, aka the Drone Ranger, how's it going, Mike? So, and it's been raining pretty much all day long.
We just we had a storm last night as well. It wasn't much. We got about a half inch of rain, but the wind was pretty solid for a while. But and then we had another one. I don't know, a couple of hours ago. We didn't even get a quarter inch. It's just been that way for the last few days. We have scattered thunderstorms all around the area. So,
And there he is, Mr. Lockwood.
Mr. Lockwood, the
boys.
one and only.
Yeah, they decided not to recreate that mold.
Oh, I just realized that comment that Mike Roach made is still up on the screen. Better pay better attention to what I'm doing. So how you doing, Ron?
A little tired. I been up since 2 a.m. and left for work about 3:30, and I'm here till Wednesday.
Wow.
And the plan: go home Wednesday morning, and hopefully Jim Boyd will be there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's coming up your way, isn't he?
He's supposed to be. Oh,
Pretty cool.
Then yeah, I'm off for 3.5 weeks starting Wednesday.
And Nathaniel. Yeah, Jody, I don't have any 5 1/4. I have some 3.5 inch floppies still around somewhere, but I think I have the original 3.5 inch floppies for Windows 1. I think Windows 1 came on 2 3.5 inch floppies.
I want to give a shout out to Nathaniel Lee, Rick Halber, Blind Neil. They've just both, all three of them just joined the chats.
Hey, Blind Neil. Hey,
Have I
Rick.
missed anybody?
Nathaniel. Windows beta, yeah.
I remember Windows 3.1.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the first one to really catch on.
Yeah, I think so.
Windows 3.0 was way too buggy. Windows 1 was you couldn't really differentiate between it and Xerox, which is what it was based on.
Uh,
It wasn't based on it. The original code was Xerox's code.
Rodney, how are you feeling since, how's your knee? Was it your knee?
Oh, it's good. The knee was just skin up a little bit, and the ankle's fine. I twist my ankle at least once a month.
Oh my! Is it?
A hobby or?
Well, I think so. I'm beginning to think that it's a hobby. I mean, I seem to do it at least once a month for some reason. For whatever reason I do it, I don't know. Maybe I like it. Who knows?
Yeah.
Want to start the question?
Glutton for sprained wrists or sprained ankles.
Well, the last few walks I've made, Blind Neil, I told my wife I was going to have to buy some hiking boots because I have a tendency to do that, and that would probably help.
I wonder why that is. I've probably had 2, maybe 3 sprained ankles in my life.
Well, I don't know why I twist my ankles, but most of the time, I mean, I really don't hurt it anyway. It just, I twist it and I fall down and it hurts for a little bit. And then, after 5 or 6 hours, it's all good.
Yeah.
So I've never twisted my ankle and had it swell up on me or anything like that. Except for, a couple of times I have sprained it for real, but it was just the tripping and then the falling and the skint knee in that day. And if I'd known it was going to cause the reaction that it caused, I probably wouldn't have posted it on Facebook or on a video, but it was, to me, it was funny because I'm just walking along and I look over at this car that's passing me and I go to wave, and next thing I know, I'm falling face first into the gutter. Fortunately, it was into the gutter, instead of the street.
Right.
Could have been a lot worse if I'd fallen into the street, I guess. But let me take that happy birthday down, Dennis.
Yes. Thanks.
No, I'm embarrassing you a lot. And you know what? That's okay. It's your birthday.
You don't mind at all.
I don't mind embarrassing you at all, brother. So, Ron, I was just thinking about you earlier, thinking, I wonder how he's doing. He's probably out guiding right now. I forgot that you were on a long work period.
Hi, Tomas.
Yeah.
Tomas,
my third shift. I've got one, two, three more to go. Yeah. I already did 36 hours this week, and then I was up here earlier in the week, and then I went home for 2 days, and now I come back, and so then I go home Wednesday and off for 3.5. So I can't wait.
What's the thinking behind that, Ron, for those long shifts? Why is that? I mean, you go through that all the time. So why is that?
Yeah. Part of the problem with here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases. Our Sioux Falls base has only 12s. And I think our Bemidji and Fargo's only do 12. The problem with here is hardly anybody lives close by. So what they do is they try to group all your hours in as close together in a 2-week time period as they can. So like I work, I'm scheduled to work 36 a week. So I work Friday morning, off Friday night, work a 24 on Saturday, and then off 24 Sunday, come back and work a 24 on Monday, off Tuesday day, work Tuesday night, and then I go home for 9 days.
Look what the cat drug in.
Yeah.
I see that.
Hey, guys. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Ron.
It speaks.
Hey, how are you, man?
Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate
How was
it.
your birthday, Dennis? Happy
It
birthday.
is. Thank you.
Yeah, then I think Dennis is probably going to beat me up next time he sees me for doing this, but I couldn't resist.
Well, I could have stayed away. I knew it was going to happen, but I didn't. So you can put all the blame on me.
No. I like the attention.
It just seems like there'd be diminished, reduced response, increased response time is what I mean to say, I guess, and diminish. What's the word that I want? Anyway, it doesn't seem like you'd be at your peak at the end of that shift.
Yeah, there's times that I leave here and I have a hard time driving to the apartment. It's about 4 miles away. But that's not uncommon for fire EMS to work 24s.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Firemen
But you're right though. You don't get. It's not for everybody, and you got to condition your body to. If I wanted to, I could lay right down right now and go to sleep. Not a problem.
Oh yeah, I used to put in 36-hour shifts all the time on my job, which was data processing. But with me, if I was a little slow to react to this or respond to that, nobody died. It didn't matter much.
Yeah.
How long do you get off in between those, Ron?
Sometimes 12, and then some. Well, like tonight I'll be off 12, but I work 24 tomorrow. But then Sunday I'm off for 24, and then, but with some of the problems I run into, my last rotation, we're up almost the whole time, and I should have known better. You think after all these years, but I was like, oh, I just need one cup of coffee. That could not sleep till 2 in the afternoon. Slept for about 2.5, 3 hours, and then come back in at 8.
Right.
And that night, and then we come in and we do our duties at the beginning of our shift. We're done in half an hour, and then you're pretty much on your own if you want to do your online education or do whatever. But I laid here that night wide awake.
Yeah.
My body knows I'm here, and it takes me sometimes a couple days at home to realize, oh, I'm at home. I don't have to worry about alarms going off.
Right.
But that's been my life for 30 years.
Yeah. Hey, I want to give a shout out real quick to Tomas Ariels and to Fly High Ireland.
They fly
Did
high.
I mention Rick Halbert and Drone Shots?
You can mention them again.
Rick Halbert and Drone Shots, welcome to the chat, in case I forgot you. All right, guys.
Ray Kelly.
Ray Kelly, yep. There's a lot of people here today.
Yeah. So, Rodney, you took a little break for a while from doing live streams, huh?
Well, just the weekend, really.
Yeah.
I mean, and of course, I almost always just go live on the weekends, and every now and then, like today, I get a burr up my back end, and hey, let's go live,
Right.
But yeah, I took a day off. There were some other things I wanted to do, and if I got on Saturday morning coffee with Rodney, it'd go for a couple of hours, and it'd take away some time. So I just decided to take that day off, and but I'll be back tomorrow. Weather permitting.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, thankfully, it's a beautiful day up here in the Northeast, just like, 80 degrees and partly sunny. So I might be flying later on doing the sunset or something, maybe live on Facebook, maybe not, Plus, I want to look at my gutters.
Yeah. So
to make the best sunsets. I was just checking our weather is supposed to be hazy in the morning, so I'll probably be flying.
Yeah.
Excuse me a second, guys.
So, Ron, how much during the year, like vacation time, like actual long-term time off, do you get like, because that's all that even 12-hour breaks. I mean, your body just, you're barely getting to sleep before you got to be on again.
Yeah. Actually, Mike, it's I'm contracted for 72 hours in a 2-week time period. So I was just explaining to the dentist, they scooch all of our hours as close together as possible. So I come up here I come up this morning and I'm here till I go home Wednesday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm off for 9 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to remind everybody.
I'm actually, the nice thing about this is we actually accumulate vacation time, like a lot. Like, holy cow, I'm kind of shocked. And if I don't use some of it soon, they have a max of 325. I'm up to like 250.
Right.
And so next rotation I'm taking off. So when I go home Wednesday, I'll have my 9 days off. I'm taking my 5 days off of my normal rotation, and then my 9 days that I would normally have off after that. So I'm gone for almost 3.5 weeks.
That's cool.
I'm doing Sturgis and then going to Alaska mid-August.
Nice.
Yeah, and then we won't hear from him ever again, because he'll get up there in Alaska and he'll say, "Oh, I like this place," and he'll turn into an Eskimo. And
Grizzly Adams Jr.
yes, it was a Jeremiah Johnson of Alaska.
That's it.
Right.
Hey, I want to remind everybody in the chats, kind of keep it respectful and stuff with the language and stuff like that. So just a reminder. But anyway.
Yeah.
So Mike, how you been doing?
I've been doing pretty good. July was a stressful month, only because of some things that got screwed up. I mean, it sounds small, but like I have a 2018 vehicle, which cost me a fortune because of all the adaptions and stuff. And I went into the dealer for just a firmware update to like the whole GPS radio system, and they turned it into a brick. And I've been waiting a month for this part now.
Oh, wow.
And the vehicle was drivable, but then my battery was dead, and I rely on the battery to get in and out of the vehicle. So that's, that theoretically could be dangerous. And so they took my sweet ride and turned it into something I don't have 100% confidence in. Hopefully next week we're going to get taken care of. I had to go, complain like crazy, but it's like, damn, they took July away from me, and I like to go up in the Adirondacks and things like that. And it's not far. So take rides up there. So hopefully I'll recover in August, but that kind of thing. And I've been trying to lose weight. So I've been on a liquid diet.
Good for you.
Yeah. Which is not as hard as it might sound. We're not talking water. It's more like protein shakes and stuff. And all under my doctor's supervision and that kind of thing. So, it's actually, you get enough protein and stuff, you don't feel that hungry. It's so that and some extra exercise, and so I've, the pants fit better, waistline doesn't lie.
There you go.
That's a good thing.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I used to use what was it? My friend called it weight gain. I used to lift weights a lot, and I had to take this weight gain to keep the body weight up. So
yeah.
You're
kind of a naturally thin guy, right?
I am. Yeah.
Naturally.
It's not because I work hard at it. It's just one of the things I was blessed with. But
Right. Yeah.
So
Dennis.
Mike, I was gonna say, Mike, if either one of them hang out with me up in the Philly area, that wouldn't be the case any longer.
Well, hopefully,
Harry's hot dogs.
Oh, Harry's.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'll be able to refrain from eating 4 of them again.
They are good, though.
They are good.
They are good.
They are good.
I tell you what,
it's funny. Every
really
city
want
seems to have
another-
a hot dog joint that's like, these are the best. and we have one here too. And I'm going to treat myself in a couple of weeks. Take a little break for a weekend, and knock myself out with those, and then start up again. But I got to have some treats. I mean, I haven't had a Dorito or a beer or a soda in like 4 months. Or any food really.
What I'm worried about in Alaska, the owner of the outfitter, his wife, she's published 3 cookbooks. She knows how to cook. And every night it's so cool. You come in on the dock, you and your buddy on a boat, you come in on the dock, and they have these young kids down on the dock, and it's like, hey guys, go eat. They get into your dry box and get your fish out, instantly start filleting it. You go up there and it's a buffet style, but holy crap. Like my last night up there, we had steak, lobster, some kind of vegetable, and some kind of potato, and like 3 different types of desserts. It's not good. It's not good for the waistline up there.
Yeah, well, that's vacation though.
You know what I miss from Harry's though, more than the hot dogs? I love that malted milkshake. That was so good.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't had one of those in a long time. They're hard to find now.
Yeah.
See, I should have gone ahead and got one of those. If I'd known
You
I was
could
going
have.
to be going into the hospital at the time, I probably would have. I mean, but let's face it, it's those hot dogs that put me in the hospital. Not really, but
But we can blame it because the timing was right.
right. The timing was almost perfect, actually.
A friend of mine, the guy who got me into drones to begin with, went to Alaska. I think not this past winter. It's all blending into one, but he went up there obviously last summer, I believe, because you don't go up there in the winter. And at the end of the season, though, and his brother-in-law works at a restaurant where they take you out on fishing charters, and you catch all these different kind of fish. They know where to go, and then they prepare your food for you. So you,
Oh wow,
and his wife's brother is a chef there, so they spent about a week at that place, plus train travel, all that stuff around Alaska. So, and they're into photography big time.
wow.
I want to
Hey,
see more the
Hello,
northern
Mr.
parts.
Darcy.
I go up to Fairbanks or Nome, a really cool place.
Mhm.
Where we're at, it's really beautiful. Don't get me wrong, it's gorgeous. But I want to see more of the the glaciers, those sort of things up there. So
Yeah. That's great, man. What's the
We were-
schedule? What's the time frame? In a couple of
pardon
weeks.
me, Mike.
What date are you heading to Alaska?
I'm leaving 2 days earlier than the rest of the guys. We have a total of 6 going up, and I'll get there, get the rental van, and in Petersburg, and there's a spot I know from the hotel. It's about 10 miles away, but you pull off the road and park. Some of the locals told us about it last time. You hike back into the woods and you come back to the river, and there's usually a couple guys back there fishing. The salmon are just jumping everywhere, and then the bears start coming in certain times of the day. I want to be back there. It's mostly, I think it's all black bear on the island. There's no grizzly.
Okay.
So for the most part, you really don't have much to worry about.
Yeah, that's
If
good.
it were grizzly in there, I'd be a little nervous, but yeah.
Rodney, who was guarding the door?
Who's guarding the door?
Yeah, do you know that Adrian got into the chat?
I saw that. I thought Ron had the door, but he's too tired and didn't see it.
Hey, Adrian.
How's it
Hey,
going,
Adrian.
So,
No. Well, that's great, Ron. I hope I expect you're bringing some serious camera equipment with you.
oh yeah, I just shipped my Pelican box up about 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
It's 100% waterproof and it floats. And because you run the risk, those whales get pretty close sometimes. Don't happen often, but the potential of you getting overturned by a whale breaching beside you, because we see whales 50, 60, 70 times a day.
Wow.
And it happened last time I was up there to one of the neighbors. Turned around and looked over, and here he was sitting. Him and his dog were on top of his boat. A whale had breached too close, and the wake flipped him. So he was him and his dog. They were fine, you know.
Yeah.
But I keep all my camera gear in that Pelican box.
Yeah.
Well,
Then
that
my
would be
goal,
some cold water.
yeah, my goal every night. They want us back into the dock at 6 for dinner. And then I think they said 8:30 is the latest we go out. But I want to go in, eat my dinner real quick. And we're about a quarter mile or so in an inlet. And I want to have somebody run me back out to the bay and let me off on land. And in the evenings, and I'll just sit out there with my binoculars and look for whales. And then I want to launch the drone and go film some whales.
Oh, that
Cool.
will be some awesome video.
That will be excellent. I went we've only been to Alaska once, and I took my drone with me. We went on a Carnival cruise, and Carnival allows you to take a drone along with you. Of course, you can't fly it on the ship, but they allow you to have it. And but we did that whole trip, and I carried the drone with me everywhere that I went. I never got out. I never had the nerve to get it out and actually fly it though. Not one time. When I felt like I would want to, the weather wasn't conducive to doing it. So the only time I flew that was after we landed in Seattle. I flew it out to get shots of our cruise ship, and that's it.
You know, Dennis, on that subject, I remember, oh gosh, it was a couple of years ago, and I want to say it was a Phantom 4, somewhere along those lines. And I remember some young kid did a video of how he lost his drone on a cruise ship.
Mm-hmm.
And what he did was he launched it and had no problem flying around and filming the ship. But when he tried to bring it back on board, the radar from the ship, something with the radar or the electronics, would not let it completely, come in over top and come in and land in the ship.
His signal was jammed somehow? That's weird.
Yeah, it was really strange. And all of a sudden, he like I said, it was probably 2-3 years ago, but he finally said, well, he filmed it with a hand camera. He's like, well, my drone ran out of battery, and there it goes.
Oh,
yep.
Gracious peace.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to SJM, the drone flyer, and to Adrian Mateo Drones.
Now, the original Phantom 4, that was OcuSync, right? Or Lightbridge, maybe.
Lightbridge, yeah.
Yeah.
That's still better than Wi-Fi. So that's pretty weird. I'm surprised it got jammed somehow. I'm sure that was not intentional, but.
You ever watch that guy down in, I think he's in Fort Lauderdale, Copter Tube? He chases ships all the time.
Oh, yeah.
With a drone. And he gets pretty close. And, of course, he doesn't try to land on them ever. But he gets right up pretty personal with them. But, it's a lot of steel to try and land on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I could imagine the magnetic interference being excessive.
Yeah, that's what I guess I was trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think any of them allow drones anymore, even just to bring with you in transit to where you're going.
Carnival has it in, well, they did. What was it? 2 years ago, I guess we went. It was in September. And at that time, it was explicitly stated in their policies about carry-ons. You can have a drone, but it must stay in your baggage. It must stay in its container.
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay, Rodney.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Who is that masked man?
Adrian.
Adrian. He doesn't want you to know who he is. We don't hear you, Adrian.
How's everybody doing?
Great.
Good, Adrian.
They and his love lady, Mr. Mike, our media. Ron, I'm not talking to you right now, sir. You in trouble, mister. You know what? That's enough. I still love you no matter what, Ron.
I didn't understand what you just. There's something wrong with your mic, Adrian.
Yeah, you get
Honest.
little audio trouble, Adrian. Whoopsie.
Bye.
Maybe he had a bad signal.
Yeah.
You know. Well, I went a little over a month ago. I drove up into the lower Adirondacks to use my drone for the first time, and I got talking with this lady, and I had just taken off. She comes over, "What's that? A drone?" You know, the usual stuff. And like a dummy, it's floating like 4 feet off the ground. So I'm like, I got to get this thing up in the air. Before I took a shot, I shot straight up into, of all places in the world, to go run into telephone wires. I hit telephone wires.
Oh man.
And Mavic 2 came crashing down, and it was okay. It would have been fixable, except for one of the motors was seized up. And I don't have refresh or anything, so I can't blame the lady. I did it.
No.
So, but I'm not crying the blues. I'll get back up there hopefully in a couple of weeks. So it's gorgeous because it's like 2 hours away, and you get into some of the lower mountains, and then if you want to drive 4 or 5 hours, you can get up to Lake Placid. So it's
you're up lower New York or upper New York, Mike?
So actually right in the middle of the state, Syracuse, New York. About 40 miles, say, below Lake Ontario.
Okay.
Right in the center of the state. So we can get to Niagara Falls, New York City, the Adirondacks, Canada, all within 6 hours max.
Yeah.
At the max, not even that. So it's a good location. Tough winters because we get lake effect snow, but when it gets cold. But last year was an easy winter, thank God, because once COVID hit in mid-March when the shutdowns, it really didn't snow that much after. So I'm glad they have that hassle on top of being crazy about everything. So
Yeah. Just doing some quick research here on Cruise Critic. This article is not dated, so there is that. But it says here that Carnival and Royal Caribbean are the only cruise lines that allow drones to be brought aboard. And for Carnival, it's only camera drones that are permitted. In both cases, the drone can only be used on land. But again, this is not dated. This could be 10 years old. I wouldn't know the difference.
Right.
But yeah. Anyway, I'll check that out on Carnival's cruise site at some point again. Because
Where did Adrian go? He
had problems with his audio, and we yelled at him. He couldn't take it anymore.
He probably deserves getting yelled at. Capture Life Connection. Hello. How are you today? Anybody new come in besides Capture Life Connection? No, doesn't look like SJM drones, recovery drone.
I don't think so, but I've been researching policies.
Yeah. Have you done a lot of cruises, Dennis?
Only one. That's the only time we went. We would like to do it again. Now there's all this stuff about the pandemic, right? But I think in reality, that's no different from any hotel or any airplane or something else that you might get on for, more than a minute and a half. You're going to be with other people. You're going to be in close quarters. You're going to be where other people have been. It has this view of being a risk because of the publicity that I think that so many of those ships had, because they had what do you have on a ship? 3,000 people at a time, something like that. And somebody has a case of COVID.
Nowadays, about 3,000, yeah.
Yeah, so somebody has a case of any kind of flu whatsoever, right? But in this case, COVID-19, and it's big news. So
Yeah.
so now
bet
my
you,
wife is,
Go ahead.
who's also Chinese, so there's that too, right? But my wife has no interest in cruising anymore. Although that was one of her. If she'd had her choice a year ago, she'd be a professional cruise attendant. You know?
Hey, I want to shout out to TDR Drones. Hello, Brian. Welcome to the chat, and to BMAC. Brian.
Brian's here, huh?
Brian Mack's in the house. Brant Ariels just popped in too. Hello, Gary.
Hey, Gary.
Tommaso Solva. Yeah, Tomas Ariels is what his new handle is.
Right.
Yeah, I've done a few cruises. I've 7 in total over about a 10-year period, and 5 of them were on the same ship because I just knew the layout of it, and I loved the wheelchair access and all that stuff. And
same exact ship.
Pardon?
Same exact ship.
Yeah, same exact ship. And
wow.
Because it takes a while to learn the layout and how to get from point A to point B.
You have problems I don't even envision. So
yeah,
I've done several cruises too.
I'll bet.
But mine were like anywhere from 6 to 8 months long.
Right.
And there was none of the stuff that ships had now.
Yeah.
But we did have some big guns.
Ours didn't seem to have any big guns for some reason.
Any drones, Rodney?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
But I got the cruising out of my system as far as that stuff, thankfully, because now it's service just isn't what it was even, say, 15 years ago, regardless of COVID and stuff. So, plus flying is a hassle too.
Oh yeah. We're land bound. We're 4 hours away from the nearest coast. So and the nearest coast has no ships. We're about 8 hours from Miami. So Tampa's about 6.
The one good thing about the cruises I've been on, though, we did get to see a lot of interesting places.
I'll bet.
I think probably one of the neatest places we've been was the ship I was on. My last ship was, we went to the Black Sea, and we made a stop into Constanta, Romania, and that's back when it was still part of the Soviet Union.
Right.
That was actually a pretty interesting cruise. I also got my wallet stolen there too.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's pretty amazing how it was done. I mean,
like like a pickpocket?
Yeah. I had the wallet in my front pocket and I could feel it. Well, me and 2 of my buddies, we got on this bus. We wanted to go to the beach. And so we caught this bus that was going to go that way. And we got on the next stop. A bunch of people got on. And I was kind of stuck holding my hand up like this. And somebody got my wallet out of my pocket. And it happened to one of my other buddies too. And I mean, it was, and I never felt a thing. Drone Bum is in the house. Hello, Bum.
Mr. Bum.
Mr. Bum.
Now, where did you spend the majority of your time at sea, Rodney? Where would you say most of it was spent?
Well, it was pretty equal. I did well, I guess that being stationed on the USS Preble here in Virginia, it was in Norfolk, Virginia. I spent a lot more time in the Atlantic and the Med than when I was on the West Coast. But when I was on the West Coast, I was on the USS Towers. It was another DDG, and we did an 8-month deployment to the Western Pacific. And over there, I went to the Philippines, Thailand, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. Where else did we go? Oh, Taiwan and Hong Kong. And that was pretty much for an 8-month cruise. And then, but when I got stationed out here on the DDG out here in Norfolk, I've been to the U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Cuba, the Mediterranean. In the Mediterranean, we went to France, Spain, Haifa, Israel. Like I said, the Black Sea in Romania, and of course, when I say Spain, I'm talking like Ibiza, Spain, and Porto. There's another island. They're islands that belong to Spain. Porto de Mallorca. I think was the name of it.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
I
But
think the Azores belong to Spain too, don't they?
yeah, I think so.
Or part of them anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. And Italy, we went to Italy. Hello, Les. How you doing, buddy? Hey, Les, do me a favor. If you still have my phone number, can you give me a call? I got a couple of questions I need to ask you. So, but or if you don't, Les, go ahead and you can text me on Instant Messenger or something. But anyway, also on the 3 years I was on the Preble, we went to England, Portugal, France again, Norway, Holland, and yeah, that was about it.
That's about it, huh?
That's about it.
Boring.
Oh yeah.
Now, are you a
I've
caffeine
seen
guy?
the sun shining at 2:00 in the morning, just like
Yeah.
it was noontime.
Where was that?
That was up north of Norway. We were up in
summertime. Yeah.
we were way up there. There's some island, and we were doing ASW ops, going back and forth. And well, looky here,
What's ASW?
Hey, man.
Hey,
anti-submarine warfare.
okay.
Dennis, to answer your question.
Yes, thank you.
No, I don't suppose you could tell us how that works, because I imagine there's a lot of secret stuff for that.
Well, I can tell you that it involves sonar.
Right.
Chris Holt, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Just trying to figure out how to drive and do this at the same time. Mom.
Well,
Oh, you've been moving.
I guess he hasn't figured it out yet.
Can y'all hear me?
Just
Yeah.
We can't see you.
Hello?
Hello, Chris?
Can y'all hear
Oh,
me?
maybe.
I can hear you.
Okay.
he
How about
can't hear
now?
that.
Yeah, I can hear you, but still can't see you.
Good.
How's it going down there, Chris?
It's doing okay. Hang on a minute. I'll be right back, Rodney.
All right.
Okay. I think Ron got busy or fell asleep. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty. All the cruises were pretty interesting.
I have a feeling Recovery One drone put up fight marks for you, Rodney.
Whoops. Sorry, Chris. What was that, Dennis?
I said, I have a feeling recovering one drone put up enough fighting words for you.
It ain't gonna work,
says,
Rodney.
Did you know that the Navy was the prototype for Uber for the Marine Corps?
Yeah, he must be a Marine. I bet you anything. He was he's either he is a Marine or an ex-Marine.
A good buddy of mine was in the Navy in the 80s, Rodney. He's only, he did his 4 years and to get money to go to school and that kind of thing. And he was down in Norfolk and he was landlocked. He didn't go on the ship. And he worked on helicopters for the Admiral's helicopter fleet or whatever. And he said, a lot of shore patrol on Saturday night with the Marines coming out to get guys and take them back to the brig and lock them up for a weekend and whatever.
Oh, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. Joan Worship is asking about who will win the Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. fight.
That's hard to know who those people are.
Well, I know who Mike Tyson is, but I haven't watched boxing in years, and I've never heard of Roy Jones before. So, but I'm going to have to say that Roy Jones probably has a better chance of beating Mike than any of his other contenders back in the day.
He has a better chance than I have.
Well, certainly better chance than I do.
So I had heard something about that. There's something to Mike Tyson. I heard he was going to fight, and I'm thinking, when was this? But Roy Jones he was in a lighter weight class, I believe. But Mike Tyson, he's younger than Tyson.
Yeah.
Tyson in his prime, maybe not, but Jones is fast, and Tyson's not fast anymore, and he has a glass jaw when he gets hit. So,
who, Roy Jones does, or
Tyson?
Oh, Tyson does. Well, I didn't know that.
Remember, his fights used to be like one round, and he would knock out everybody. So he never really got hit much early on.
I remember I watched one fight, and I forget who it was. The fight lasted 12 seconds.
Whoa.
I forget who it was. I don't think it was George Foreman.
My goodness.
I was stationed in Japan, so it had to have been between 72 and 70 or 73 and 75 when I was stationed in Japan. And they broadcast the live in Japan, and the main event happened, and whoever it was, let me think. It was anyway, the guy came out, took 3 punches, knocked the guy down. 12 seconds, he knocked the guy out, and the Japanese were not happy.
I was thinking Tyson got his ear bit. Was he the one that was doing the biting?
He bit Holyfield.
Okay. Ed wants to
Holyfield's
know.
ear off. Yeah. I saw a cartoon on Facebook I mean, there was Holyfield was sitting there and he had a mask on, but it was like hanging down. And he goes, "Thanks a lot, Mike."
I guess they've actually become good friends.
Because you can't wear a mask anymore. Yeah, that's sad.
And Mike Tyson actually has a podcast, and they have videos of it on YouTube. He smokes pot on an almost constant basis now. I guess it's legal wherever he is for recreational purposes. He's pretty much stoned all the time.
Who, Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
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 Well, I think I don't know. I quit watching boxing years ago, but
yeah.
My dad loved boxing. He really did. He watched it. He had two VCRs, so he could record 2 and watch the third one all at the same time. He loved that stuff.
Yeah, it
It was good in the 70s and 80s, and it's maybe into the 90s, like Ali and Frazier, and then Tyson, and in the 80s and stuff, and but Roberto Duran and Sugar Ray and all that, but there's no interesting characters anymore.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to Tony. Tropic is in the house.
Hey, Tony.
How's it going, Tony? Ron, you look like you're about dead to the world, bud.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm a little tired today.
Maybe you got to try and get some sleep.
Yeah. Last night I was up at 2 a.m. Got up before the alarm.
Oh, man.
See you,
I hate
Tiffany.
that. I set 3 alarms when I got to come to work just to make sure.
So when do you got to go on shift again? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow morning at 8.
Yeah, dude, you need to go get you some sleep.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to rush you off or anything, bud, but you look like you're about dead.
Here's your hat, Ron. What's your hurry?
What's that?
Here's your hat. What's your hurry?
Yeah.
Just concerned for you, brother. Just concerned.
Yeah, I might go take a little nap.
Stay if you want to, I guess, but I mean.
Yeah. And try and join up with Matt tonight for a little bit and say hi. Last week was Matt's live stream last week. Whew.
Oh, yeah, you said you were going to send me a link to a live stream, which you never did.
Oh,
by the way.
I think the funniest part was Jim did his. He colored his mustache with Miss Clairol.
He seriously did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did it live. Yeah.
Oh, he did it live. Oh, man.
He doesn't seem like the Clairol type.
Was he coloring it the original color or something obscure?
Yeah, well, he said he used to use Just for Men, but then he found, I guess that Miss Clairol works better or something. Yeah, he did it live. No, people were, I think Bob Casey said he had to get a towel. He said there was water coming out of his eyes. Those guys were laughing so much.
Yeah, I do my wife's hair for her, and so I know what that stuff's like. I don't like being around it.
So always, when you're streaming his, it's always a good time, man.
Yeah. Well, I love some of the antics we do sometimes. Anyway, I want to give a shout out to Love My Drones. How's it going, Ed?
Hey, Ed.
And Mrs. RT, if you're still in, you have a good evening, lady, and we'll talk to you later. So, but yeah, I can, I wished I could watch more of the nighttime live streams, but if I did, I'd never have any time with my wife.
Yeah.
And then she'd end up divorcing me, and
And he'd show up on either Dennis's or my doorstep with a broken drone or something.
Yeah, and
Yeah. Well, it's tough for those Australian guys. It's morning for them when it's night here. So
yeah.
I call Matt in the morning. I called him at 4:00 this morning. It was 8:00 his time at night. He was just getting off work, so we chatted.
yeah.
He used to call me when I was in the hospital. He'd call me like it'd be like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's daytime for him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay because I wasn't really getting much sleep in the hospital anyway. Between the hours of 10 and 5 in the morning, I was supposed to have uninterrupted sleep.
Folks, I have to go. My son is here. He just arrived, so I'm gonna bid you folks adieu.
All right,
Dennis.
Good to see you, Dennis.
We'll see you
give
later.
my
Great to
regards
see
to
you.
you, son.
Thanks for letting me on. We'll see you later.
You're welcome, Dennis.
Bye.
Always a pleasure. So, but anyway, so between the hours of 10 and 10 at night and 5 in the morning, I was supposed to get uninterrupted sleep.
Mhm.
Well, the nurses would look in just to make sure I was okay, and but they wouldn't come in. And I'd be sitting there on my phone talking to people doing a live stream. And they're like, Mr. Bell, you're supposed to be asleep. I can't sleep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've done my share of time in the hospital. Sleep and hospitals don't mix. Just
you know, I've never really been able to sleep in the hospital. Even the only time I could ever sleep is when they've actually put me under.
right.
You know, I mean, so you know,
I used to work in a hospital up on the floors, and I remember this stupid nurse one day woke this guy up to give him a sleeping pill. I'm like, are you serious?
well,
It's time for your
You know-
sleeping pill. I was already sleeping.
I was in the hospital. The first time I ever went into the hospital for my heart, they would come in and they'd say, Mr. Bell, you need to be asleep. Well, why are you waking me up? Because I was asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got to give you your medicine. Well, the medicine can wait.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I can't watch daytime live, so you had to go there, didn't you? Didn't you, bum? Huh?
Mrs. Bell.
Yeah, you had to go there. I got your number now.
Watching you.
Love you.
You gotta watch that bum guy. You know?
I know. So
Rodney, we got to figure out for next spring. We want to still do a meetup. They're probably not going to have the sportsman show. I wouldn't think.
I wouldn't think. Well, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we don't have to have the sportsman show to meet up.
No.
I mean, if you can make it to Pennsylvania, I can certainly meet you there.
Yeah. I think Chris expressed an interest too in coming up.
Who? Oh, Chris Hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now he would if they had that big sportsman show. I know he'd probably love it.
Well, we couldn't get him out of there. That'd be the problem. Chris, time to go home. I ain't leaving. Chris, come on. We promised your wife. No, I'm not going.
Well, it's like when I went up there before I left, my wife goes, "Don't you spend any money up there at that show," because she knew that if because she was thinking I would be able to buy guns.
Yeah. Did she have me on speed dial?
No. Not until after I went in the hospital. I think she had you in her phone. But she didn't have you on speed dial.
Ron, are you watching him? Has he bought anything? I haven't seen a thing.
Well, I did come home and she goes, "Well, did you buy anything?" I go, "Yeah, I bought a holster." Which I haven't used.
Oh. Yeah. Buddy, I might take your advice. And
dude, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to rush you off, and you know I love you, but you just look dead to the world, doesn't he, Mike?
Yeah, you look tired, man.
Yeah,
you know.
He looks so pale.
Yeah,
I know that's because of the light.
Yeah, sit back here. It's not bad.
No,
the screen really portrays out a lot of light.
Yeah.
So, can you hear me okay on this one?
Oh yeah, we've been hearing you fine.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
now,
guys,
let me ask you this: if you were in Japan in the '70s, early '70s, especially, I know that a lot of Navy guys would get like Japanese stereo equipment. really cheap in Japan, send it home, that kind of thing. Were you into that at all?
Well, I bought a Pioneer QX 747.
Okay, so a big receiver.
It was a receiver amplifier, and it wasn't the top of the line. That was the 949 was the top of the line, and it was the first 4-channel type stereo. And
quadraphonic, so to speak.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's supposed to be 4-channel, but you had to have a special type of record, vinyl record, to get it to do that.
Right.
Well, I wasn't that big into 4-channel. I didn't even know what it all meant. I just knew it had great stereo sound. Well, I came back to the States after I got transferred from Japan. I went back to Oklahoma to visit my that's where I'm from, to visit my mom and my brother and stuff. And we walked into a J.C. Penney's, and of course, back in the mid 70s, I mean, stereos were the big thing.
Yeah.
And we went into J.C. Penney's, and they had this special room with all these stereos in it. And I looked, they had my model, the next higher model, which was an 848, and then the next, and the highest, the top of the line model was the 949. And my stereo alone cost like $1,200 back then.
Right.
And I got one of those. He goes, how do you like it? And I said, oh, that's great. He goes, well, what'd you pay for it? And I said, I paid $349 for it. He goes, no, you didn't. I said, yes, I did. And he goes, you couldn't have. I said, the cheapest this sells in here in the United States. I didn't say I bought it in the United States.
Yeah.
But I bought it at the Navy Exchange, and it was $349.
Yeah.
And I actually had to get it converted to 60 cycle.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of stereos, and if you remember, like they called it the stereo wars in the 70s.
Yeah,
everything was about receivers and speakers.
Oh yeah, and if you didn't buy the 901 speakers, whether they were Bose, and let me tell you, a friend of mine bought 4 Bose stereo speakers, and they sounded great. And the range of them was crazy. I mean, he lived off base in a Japanese apartment, and it was crazy. It vibrate the house.
Right.
And but anyway, yeah, it was. You're right. It was all about getting the best sound and stuff, and it was just crazy how expensive it was as compared to what I bought it when I was in Japan. But
yeah, it's funny what brands there were. Like J.C. Penney actually had their own brand.
They did.
Yeah. And also Radio Shack was even big back then with Tandy or Realistic, I think they called it. I actually had one. That was my first real receiver, was a used Realistic. 20, 30 watts, I forget.
Hey, Fly Natural, how's it going, Roosevelt?
Hey, Roosevelt.
Kids and your newfangled boom boxes. Dude, we're talking about boom boxes that were made before you were born, brother. You were just a gleam in your daddy's eye back then, kiddo. Sorry, Rosie. I had to throw that in there. So, all right.
Well, boys, you guys have a good evening. Rodney, thank you for having me on. And
well, you're
Mike,
welcome.
good to see you.
Good to see you, Ron.
You're always on. You're always welcome. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end this, I think, Mike. So,
yeah, no problem.
All right, in the chat, have a good day.
You too, brother, and try to get some good rest, man.
Yeah.
Try. I'm going to lay down for about an hour, get a little pick me up.
Yeah. Well, like I said, my wife is going to pick my stepdaughter up, so I may pop into Mike or Matt's live stream tonight if they're not back yet. So,
yeah.
Yeah, you should, man. So, like you said, it's always a good time there.
Oh yeah, yeah. It is. So
All right.
All right,
Thanks a
guys.
lot, Rodney.
all right, man.
Okay,
Mike,
everybody.
Ron, take care, brothers.
and good night, everybody.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Hey, everybody in the chat. Thank you for being in there. Enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, the Saturday sunrise will happen. And weather permitting, of course. And then Saturday morning coffee with Rodney will be back. And then don't forget the Sunday sunrise crew. That's Drone Bum, Dennis LoveLady, PhillyDroneLife, possibly Fly Natural, and Chris Hope, and possibly even Jim Hightower. So, folks, y'all take care and love y'all. Bye now.